first dribble are so important. You got to go. Those have to be, it can't be like, la, 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 oh, I see it. It's too late. You got to get it, look, and start to push so you can make that pass if you see it. In my opinion, when you can hit somebody on the run, in stride for a layup, that's a backbreaker. You know, a lot of times, like what are some backbreakers? Like O-boards, kick out for a three, backbreaker. I think that full court pass for a layup just kills teams' morale. But that's why I think the first, like, it's like a simultaneous kind of get the ball, look up, assess, but then that first step and dribble have to be like to go. So you can make the pass if need be. You're not flat-footed. You know, I can't necessarily get to the spots that I would want to get to maybe pull somebody towards me. It's not to say that I can't do it. It's just like a little less than when I was younger. So now I'm really starting to do it with my eyes. I'm having to do it more, you know, with looking people off or selling something with my eyes. Like if we went back to that one man eye situation I explained, so I'm coming off like a middle-ish pick, kind of sort of like a slot, but maybe more towards the middle. Coming off that, you've got Stewie rolling, and now you have your shooter who is kind of on the wing corner pulling up behind. So now I know they're coming. So now if I can keep my eyes on Stewie and draw that shooter's defense in because I'm looking, and then boom, hit the shooter, right? Whereas maybe in the older days, I would have been able to get a little more downhill. And because I pulled Stewie's man towards me so much, then the shooter's defender had to go in. So now I might do it a little more with my eyes, but I'm still trying to get to the spot. Combination of, yes, definitely trying to get to the spot to pull somebody towards me. But if I can't, then I try to do it a little bit more with my eyes.
A lot of times in the short roll, you have an advantage, and you know it's trying to figure out what that advantage is as fast as you possibly can. And to me, that's what the biggest trigger is. You know, in the short roll, you know, the defense is going to make a move, and your job is to react. You know, off the defense, I can almost know what pass to make or know what play to make based on what defender's coming and what the weak side is or how we're defense they're playing. I already kind of anticipate what the pass is going to be or what that next pass is going to be. And a lot of that's just coming from experience. Kind of look at almost like a quarterback in football. The quarterback kind of looks at his progressions and it's like, okay, my primary target is A, but I know if A's not open, then I can look for B, and I'm looking at option B, then I'm looking at option C. So for me, we do a lot of four-corner spacing, so I kind of know where everybody's going to be on the floor. So I know that, if I roll to the middle, a lot of times it's either they're going to bump one or two spots. Either they're going to bump from the three-quarter man, or they're going to bump from the weak side, or they're going to help from the weak side man, the weak side defender in the paint. So those are always my first two looks. I look at it and I'm looking at option A. Option A is not there. Well, option B has to be there. Option C has to be there. So that's the way I kind of look at it. I always kind of call it like progressions. Like I'm just looking for my progressions and kind of figuring out, who's open based on what the defense is giving me. You have to shoot it, at least once or twice, a game just to kind of, keep the defense honest. Even if you miss both or even if you make both, I think it's going to help open it up, because if you don't look to shoot, or if you don't even look at the basket as a defender, it's like, well, why do I have to, get out there and play him if he's not going to, make the attempt?
If you have an empty pick and roll in transition, I think that this is like the kiss of death for a defense if you play it right. If offense play this the right way. If your big's trailing, if he's high, is always better than if he can beat you down the floor and he's low. Because if the big's low, then you have that protection under the rim. Most of the times teams don't like to switch in transition because it gives you 18 seconds left on the shot clock to play that mismatch. That's a lot of time for a team to punish that. So a lot of times they don't like to switch in transition. Most teams like to do is they like to put the 4-man and drop defense, and they like to help from the strong side. So in transition as a 4-man, a lot of times I'm setting the screen. I'm setting it so that my point guard can pinch that gap, and hopefully that 4-man is dropped deep enough to where I have an early shot on the backside. Or if I set the screen and the guard is late, I can roll to the basket and it's 2-on-1, and you're hoping that the big is staying high so the big is not clogging the paint. Yeah.